think communication skills may be the single most important skill that you can have. Without good communication, you can't get everybody marching the same direction. You can't set priorities. You can't help the people who want it done understand the needs of the people who will have to do it, and vice versa. And you can really minimize wasted time if you communicate well. The failure to communicate a vision or a plan correctly means it won't get implemented correctly.
It's really difficult to have a successful completion of a project if you're not very good with your communication, whether it's internally within the people that have some ownership of that project, as well as the people that are wanting to know about that outcome and wanting to see where that project is going to end up. If you fail to communicate clearly, concisely, and on a regular basis, you're really setting yourself up for failure.
I think communication is key to any successful project, and it's varied in terms of how you do it. Communication is not just verbal communication, it's not just written communication, it's not just group communication, it's everything. And it's really important to have really strong communication skills in order to be successful. I think one of the things that you'll have to do is listen. So, you know, there's the talking side and the communicating side of communication skills. I think one of our lost arts sometimes is our listening skills, practicing active listening, and really being intentful and listening to your team, listening to your stakeholders, listening to your project sponsor, whomever it is, making sure that you understand what they're saying and conversely, and making sure that you're leveraging that to manage your project successfully. When you're working with a client who ultimately is buying your services or is your key stakeholder for your project, that they're in tune with everything that's going on. So there are no surprises. If you're starting to go through something and you're introducing scope creep, or there's a potential change control or something like that that's going on, and that client is aware from the very beginning of everything that you're doing, when it does come time to start discuss that change control, that scope creep, there's no surprises.
I think it helps quite a bit with conflict resolution on projects or preventing conflicts from occurring. I think one thing that's important that may not often be said around communication is you're looking for both the formal and informal communication. So you want to really pay attention to things like body language. And if you're not meeting with people in person and you're communicating through email or mostly messaging, you have to look for those hidden cues in the messaging as well and try to prevent issues from escalating. So if you sense that based on body language or communication that something isn't right, we'll intercede more informally offline with the individuals and try to understand what's going on and resolve those issues before they grow into an issue. A lot of back and forth, for example, in email. So lots of people being copied on emails is a bad sign. When you see large amounts of people on BCC or CC, that's often a red flag that there's something going on. It's okay when you're sharing something out, but when you see a thread starting of a back and forth, ping pong back and forth, as a project manager, cut that off as soon as you see something is awry. I can't say it's what the right number of those ping pongs back and forth, but intercede, because usually there's something there that needs to be worked through, that email is not the right form of communication for that.
There's tons of avenues that you can get into, whether it's committees or organizations within the business, in the community. We are really active in the chamber, and so there's tons of events that we can get involved in there where you actually get to have some public speaking experience, and then that rolls into how do you communicate in those type of events in the business world. If you see something in yourself that you need to improve on, don't be afraid to seek that out. Be hungry for that extra learning avenue that you may not have normally would have chosen. Step out of that comfort zone and find something new, because you always learn new things in different avenues that you're able to bring back in this type of field.
I think it's more about adapting your style as a project manager to the people that you're working with on your team. Cultural differences come into play. So if you're a high context or low context culture, it makes a huge difference in terms of how much you're communicating and how openly you're communicating.